Welcome back to my channel. So I apologize in advance if it's noisy. I'm at the park and they're laying some mulch, so it's a little bit noisy. But yeah, I'm back with another video, and you always spoke to me while I was reading, so I would like to share that with you guys.
Makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it. God's gonna see you through. Hold your head up, put a smile on your face.
As I was studying Habakkuk, some beautiful butterflies. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But as I was studying this word, right, Habakkuk, I was just reading. I'm doing my normal Bible time with Yahweh, listening to him, reading with him, talking to him, praying and so forth. And as I'm reading, like I say, this chapter, it was pretty much talking about this prophet. He was Holy Spirit led. He only liked to speak when Yahweh was speaking to him. And the message that he was, the vision, it was actually a vision that he got from Yahweh. And to sum it up, it's about the Chaldeans. I believe that's how you say their name, but it's about the Chaldeans. And they operating again in a lot of ego and pride. A lot of these nations that Yahweh used to conquer or take over, not really even take over, but yet really take over the kingdoms that the Israelites had inherited. They get big-headed because they think that they are the reason why there is a higher power over them that allowed them to do what they needed to do. It was by Yahweh's divine intervention that you were able to conquer these nations, or this, you know what I'm saying? Okay, hopefully y'all get that. Anyway, so the Chaldeans, they had conquered the Assyrians which had conquered city Nineveh. And Nineveh, if you guys don't know, was one of the largest populated, they had an abundance of crops, of land, animals, so forth, right? People as well. So it was like precious gold. A lot of people wanted to conquer this land. A lot of people wanted to be at the hand of this land. Anyway, I said all this to say that as I was reading this again, I'm like, ooh, it hit me. I got the word firm foundation. Since the beginning of time, there has been a separation of light and darkness, and there has been a very clear separation between light and dark, right? So in John chapter 3 verse 20, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. And Yahweh made a clear distinction between these two lights, right? Yahweh said in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, Yahweh made two great lights, right? The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. Though Yahweh was referring to day and night, I had a deeper revelation on this word, right? And I would like to take it, and you will see this throughout the Bible as well when you're actually reading. So throughout the Bible, he refers to himself as the light, like Yeshua as the light, right? So the light being Yahweh, and then the darkness being the devil. There is this separation for a reason. Like in Matthew chapter 6 verse 24, it is a great example where it states that no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold on to one and despise the other. From children onto adulthood, we are searching for our purpose, and based on what we are taught as children shapes our hearts and our minds on how or where to look for our purpose, or where to look or to find our purpose. Using myself as an example, I at a young age was introduced to the church and the Most High at a young age. I used to sing in the choir, the youth choir, dance on the praise team, and we were going to church regularly, and then regularly as I got older turned into inconsistently. And then I remember a point in my life, and I know this was by Yahweh's divine intervention. I remember really recognizing oh my, I'm so far away, because I didn't even go to church. I remember, I think it was wasn't 2020, I think it was 2019. like the year after I had my daughter. I don't believe I went to church that whole year. I don't remember the dates exactly, but I remember one year I didn't go to church. I don't think that whole year. And I was just like, like, you know, at least I'll go one time. So I knew something was like, this ain't right. I'm getting too far away. But again, still of the world, so I'm not really catching on. That's not what I'm talking about though. But I just wanted to use as an example to say that my foundation always has been Yahweh, right? My foundation has, at the time, of course, referring to him as the title God, but my foundation has always been Yahweh. So I think a great example of this word that I'm going to dive into even deeper is the story of the 3 little pigs, right? So you all know the story of the 3 little pigs, and each of them had got an inheritance from their parents or their mom, whatever, and they each did what they wanted to do with their money and built their house on what they wanted to build their house on, right? So one was built of straw, one was built of hay, and then one was built of bricks, right? So when the big bad wolf came to blow their house down, the strongest house was the one which was made of bricks stood a test. So your house, your faith, your house, your faith is your foundation. Your faith must be built on a strong foundation. So I also asked myself, when I wrote down that title, I remember coming back up, firm foundation. I came back and I wrote the question. Let me read exactly how I wrote the question, because I don't want to say what I said and I didn't say that. It said, what is your foundation built on? This helped me think about, like, wow, like our foundation, the firm foundation of our faith has to be the Most High. Your faith must be built on a strong foundation. So no matter the storm, your house won't break. Like, if anything comes your way, your house won't break, because you're so built, your faith is built so strong on your foundation, which is Yahweh. Nothing, if it's not by him, can harm you, can hurt you, or completely break down your house, right? So some of us, if not the vast majority of us, we have gone astray. We have gone astray from our foundation, which is Yahuwah. It didn't just start with our mother or our father. This has been going on for generations. Honestly, this is what led me back. I got the revelation when I went back to Genesis. This has been since the beginning of time. Start reading a little bit of Genesis, right? So Genesis 1 through 5, verses 1 through 5. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the waters. And Yahweh said, let there be light, and there was light. And Yahweh saw the light, that it was good, and Yahweh divided the light from darkness. It called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So this was the first day of creation. Yahweh started and created. It contained everything necessary, and it lacked nothing. In its nature, in its structure, it was perfect and operated perfectly in its design. When Yahweh created man, he started with Adam, and from the rib of Adam, he created Eve, right? I really would encourage, if you haven't already read that story for yourself, it's different to hear it, but then to read it yourself. So I encourage you to go read that story if you haven't. But Adam and Eve were placed here to be stewards over the land, to be stewards over the earth, right? They had a very simple rule to follow: obey Yahweh. He wanted them to care for and populate the earth, and to stay away from one particular tree. That tree being the tree, the forbidden tree of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And you guys know how this went after this. Like I said, if you have read it, if not, I encourage you to go read it, but even it up by taking a bite of the apple, getting tricked by the serpent, and so forth, right? They both ate from the tree that Yahweh had forbidden them not to eat from. And this was the start of the foundation getting rocky, right? So in response to them doing that, this caused a separation from the union of Yahweh. And they became spiritually dead, and started the process of physical death. This again was passed generation to generation. I know you're probably wondering like how, or maybe some people already is starting to click, right? So one of the main internal consequences of being separated from Yahweh, and I got this from my study Bible, really good point. One of the main internal consequences of being separated from Yahweh is that humankind loses any and all purpose in life. Separation from Yahweh causes you to lose any and all purpose from life. Only when you are walking in union with Yahweh or Yahuwah, the God of our salvation, do you find the meaning and purpose in being alive, because Yahweh created us to have purpose. He created us to have purpose. Now let's get into it, right? So from what I got, Adam and Eve, they had a firm foundation, but through their disobedience, they found themselves doing things that were outside of Elohim. Like I just mentioned earlier, we have gone astray. We have found ourselves doing things that are outside of the Most High, and we're wondering why we're feeling unfulfilled, why we're feeling like our purposes aren't being fulfilled. So therefore, when our foundation is not firm, when it's rocky, when it's not built on the Most High, we lack purpose and we feel unfulfilled. And we go to search for this purpose and this fulfillment again outside of Him, right? So same thing happened with Adam and Eve, right? They had everything that they need. Yahweh made the foundation exactly how they needed to be. They had everything that they needed. All they had to do was keep His commandment, right? Keep His commandment at the time. The only thing He wanted them to do was obey His rule. Don't eat from this forbidden tree. Take care of the earth. Be good stewards over the earth and multiply, right? But through their disobedience, it led them to be out of the union of Yahweh. And when you're out of the union of Yahweh, like I stated before, this leads to you feeling like not knowing your purpose or being unfulfilled. The only way that you can do this is through Yeshua. Hey, many people, and I'm thankful that I was brought to the light sooner than later, because I could be amongst the 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 year olds that are still out here trying to figure out what their purpose is in life, and trying to fulfill themselves in outside resources, and not realizing that the resources are right where you need them. They're right in front of your face, but you just don't want to take the time to actually study and show yourself approved to keep His commandments and to follow Yahweh's rules. Instead, you will look for outside sources and realize that, again, like I stated in my last video, there's no peace, there's no fulfillment in these things. So now not only are you doing this, you're being disobedient. Now you're opening yourself up to the enemy, and you're wondering why your finances are the way they are, or your health is the way they are. You're saved, but your body is still full of sickness and disease. Yet outside of the redemption on Yeshua, there is no fulfillment or ultimate meaning. So I feel like that's why we have a lot of depression in our society. One, two, is a lot deeper than this. It's to these covenants that sometimes have been made before we were born. Some covenants that we've made while we, are in our adulthood, or as kids, getting into certain things, not knowing, unknowingly and knowingly getting into some of these blood covenants, or just some covenants, period, that we should not have been getting ourselves into. Deliverance from these things unless it's through the blood of Yeshua. And sometimes it's to the point of where you, man of God, that can really stand and intercede for you. So it gets deep, y'all. It's really deeper than years, and we search decades trying to find out what our purpose is, seeking the meaning of money, of pleasure, status, religion, mythicism, self-actualization, and anything else that we think, anything else that we think to find our fulfillment. Yeah, by honestly idolizing and running to these other resources, we are disobeying Yahweh's second commandment, right? It says, His second commandment says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images." In other words, there shouldn't be any idols before Yahweh. There should not be anything before Yahweh, anything before Him. And I'm not going to go too deep on the idols. I think that right there, the idols needs to be a video in itself, because it gets deep. And as I'm learning, I'm like, oh my gosh, we don't realize how even some of the simplest things that we can turn into idols, like even jobs, let me see, jobs, our children, our family, cars, material things. Like, we can literally turn almost anything into an idol, including our phones. Yeah, so that's another topic for another day. But my main point still stands. What are you building your foundation on? Is it solely on things of this world, or is it faith-based? Is it on the Most High? Are you building it on something that you know that you know will stand when everything else falls? Or are you building it on things that you know will fall in no timing? You know what I'm saying? Eventually, over time, like, yeah, everything may look good now, but everything can change. Like, we can be up one day and down tomorrow. Is your foundation built on things that, on the thing, the Most High, the only thing that will sustain your house, your faith? Or are you building it again on things of this world? If your foundation is built on things of this world, my friend, it's just going to be just like I said in the story, the two little pigs. When of the two little pigs, whose house was, the one was built with straw and the one that was built with sticks, it won't stand. It won't withstand the storm. It's going to fall. It's going to fall. It's gonna fall when the storm comes. And then it's like the things that you got to think about. I'm a person that I like to think of the root of everything. Like, I don't know, like, even when it comes to just like even sickness, what is the root of the problem? What is going wrong that's causing XYZ to grow wrong, which is making you become sick, you know? Or like, even when you're like, kids are playing and they're trying to figure out it, like, you know, like this kid hit this kid or whatever the case may be. Okay, what started all of this? What is the foundation of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the foundation of it? So if you're already starting off on a rocky foundation, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to withstand. And the things that we are trying to build our foundation on, they hold no real value. They hold no real value. Okay, I'm not gonna say in the physical realm, but spiritually, they hold no real value. I like to say even money, you know, like cars. We already know cars don't hold no real value, but like things that you can naturally obtain. The BBLs that these women that are under these marine covenants and spirits that they're getting. Like all these physical things, it's like you're preparing yourself physically, but not spiritually. You're not working on the internal, which is why a lot of people you see that have either gotten these surgeries or that are obtaining really high things. They are either committing suicide or have like really super high depression and anxiety, and people don't even realize depression, anxiety, all of that is spiritual. This is spiritual. I just was speaking with my sister-in-law, and we had a conversation, and I was just saying, like, it's all a spiritual thing. Why would the Most High want you anxious, right? He's preparing you for something. Let's just say, for example, I use for her like a big event, right? And he laid it out for you, but you get anxious before you, and I'm not talking about like, oh, you know, getting, you know, like you're anxious, like you like, oh my gosh, like, you know, getting really like anxiety. You know what I'm talking about if you ever had anxiety. So you getting really anxious. Why would he make you anxious before you know what I'm saying? Before something that he's gonna bless you with. That doesn't even make any sense. He wouldn't do that to you. He's not a God that he would lie. He's not a man that he should lie. He's not gonna have you anxious before anything. That's a demon. That's a demon trying to block you from what God is trying to get to you. Same thing with depression. He's not gonna make you depressed. He's not gonna have you to the point that you don't want to pick up your Bible. He's not gonna do that to you. Anytime you see these things happening to you where you're feeling like, I can't get in my word, oh, it's like I'll start and I can't stop, listen, there is spiritual warfare. You need to check your source. You need to check the source of everything that you're doing, because Yahweh would not be blocking you from your blessings. He would not block you from, like I've told y'all in my last video, the devil likes to keep us in cycles. He likes to keep us caught up, right? When you're caught up on this hamster wheel, you're not paying attention to what the Most High is doing, right? You're so lost because you're in this loop, this steady loop. Like, you're just steady in this same consistent cycle. Like, that is not how the Most High, this is not the Father that I serve. This is not how he is set up. He doesn't want us in this continuous circle. He wants to progress us. But again, a lot of us are in our own way. We're in our own way, and we're not seeking knowledge. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we have to study to show ourselves approved, right? We're wondering, like, why? Well, we never was taught this growing up, or we never XYZ. Like I said, I'm thankful because my foundation was built on that, and a lot of people's weren't. But guys, come on, we are surrounded around knowledge. You just have to search for the right things instead of searching for things that just, again, that don't hold no value spiritually. Search for the right things, and you will study to show yourself approved. He will start to reveal things to you. It says, seek me with all your heart and you shall find me. The more you seek him, you will find him. If you're not seeking, how will you be able to find? We want to inherit, and we want to do things, again, that will like, again, build our faith on a strong foundation. Keeping a good heart posture, being kind, and exemplifying really the fruits of the Spirit. Like, I want you guys to, I'm going to encourage you, go study and figure out what the fruits of the Spirit are, right? I've already mentioned it too in my videos. You can look at Galatians chapter 5 verse 22. And something too that I want to mention, because I did mention money. I do not want you to be confused on money. So there is nothing wrong with money, okay? I know as believers we have been taught that money is a bad thing, this, that, and the third. But listen, money, truthfully, yes, is the root to all evil. It is if you are doing the wrong things with that said money, with that set amount of money, right? And how you are inheriting that money. How are you getting that money? And again, what are you doing? What are your deeds when you're getting that money? And your heart posture and so forth, right? So money is not a bad thing. Yahweh wants us to be blessed. We are not supposed to be in poverty. That poverty mindset is what the enemy wants us to think. No, that's not where we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be in a season of constant seasons of lack, right? No, Yahweh wants us to be prosperous. Read the story of Solomon. A lot of great examples in the Bible, okay? But all I'm saying is not a bad thing. It becomes a problem when the most important thing is money. Again, your foundation should be rooted and built on Yahweh. If it's built on Yahweh, it says in Philippians 4:19, He will supply all of your needs. Everything that you need will be supplied to you and added unto you according to his riches in his kingdom. Everything by Yeshua, right? By the glory of Yeshua. You should have, I've mixed a couple verses in there, but you should have these things. Everything should be added onto you. You just need to check yourself and figure out, what are you building your foundation on? Your foundation is built on money. I'm going to tell you, my friend, again, that is probably 9 times out of 10 gonna fail eventually, even if it's not now, in the next whatever XYZ upcoming years to come, decade, whatever. It's eventually gonna fail because it's not built on the firm foundation. The firm foundation being our Father. Our Father will give us every single thing that we need. Everything that we need will be added unto us according to his riches, in his kingdom, by Yeshua. If you are in a place where you're feeling like you're lacking purpose, or you're feeling unfulfilled, you don't even know where to turn, you don't know where to go, I'm telling you today, seek Yeshua. Seek him and you shall find him. Seek him with all of your heart. Don't make the excuse of like, oh, I tried to read today, but I couldn't get it. Listen, if you don't get it today, read again, try to get it tomorrow. If you don't get it tomorrow, read again, try to get it tomorrow. Seek him with all your heart, show him that you are trying. I promise he will help you get to him. But you got to do the work. We want to complain about everything being hard, but we ain't putting in the work to get to where we're trying to go, get to where he's trying to get us to. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in the work. But if you're feeling like you're in that place, I think I subscribe to you. I think you really need to seek the Most High with all of your heart and search for him, and I promise you will find him. He'll give you every single thing that you need. But there are stipulations, like keeping his commandments, really not only being a hearer of the word or a seer of the word, but also a doer of the word. The Bible says to know a man by his fruits. So your fruits should exemplify the fruits of the Spirit. If you're lacking purpose, if you're lacking unfulfillment, question what your foundation is built on. Like, is your foundation built on now faith? The substance of things hoped for the evidence of the things not seen. Do you hold fast the profession of faith without wavering? That's Hebrews 11 verse 1. Are you still lukewarm, right? You want to be with Yahweh, but again, you still a part of the world. You going to church on Sunday, but throughout the week, you're getting down. What's your prayer life? Do you fast? Do you give to the poor? Do you help the widows? Like, what is your foundation? What are you building your foundation of things of Yahweh, or are you building your foundation of things of this world? If you're building it on this world, my friend, again, check your source. Check your source. Check who's leading you in that direction, because it show not the light leading you. It sounds like the darkness is leading you, because it's leading you to lack and not to prosperous life. Remember that this life isn't about us, and once you realize that, your way of thinking, the way everything that you do, it'll change. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's about Yeshua. It's about Him, right? So save yourselves. Get saved. Show yourself approved. Study to show yourself approved. And yeah, check your foundation. What are you building your foundation on? I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was short, sweet, hopefully short, sweet to the point. Nothing too crazy, but I just wanted y'all to give y'all something for y'all to sit on and take to the Father and meditate on. Question yourself to see if you're building your foundation on the right things. I love you all, and I thank you all for watching. There'll be more and more videos as Yeshua, as long as He continues to use me, these videos will keep coming out. I love you. I thank you all for watching.